Hello, our names are Sergio Martinez, Alejandro Gutierrez, and Ricardo Zuluaga. We are going to talk about 2014 World Cup in Brazil and Colombia participation on it. First of all, I'm going to talk about the tournament. It started on June 12 and ended on July 13. A total of 32 teams played, mixed in a groups of 4 each. There were 64 games and 171 goals scored. Brazil was the host team and the ball name was Jabulani. There were a total of 12 stadiums. The first one in Belo Horizonte, it's Mineiro Stadium with a capacity of 70,000 seats. Another one in Brasilia with also 70,000 seats. Another one in Cuiabá named Arena Pantanal with a capacity of 43,000 seats. And Arena de Baixada in Curitiba with a capacity of 42,000 seats. In Fortaleza, one of the most known stadiums called Estadio Castelao with 61,000 seats. Manaus, just beside Colombia, with 50,000 seats, and in Porto Alegre, called Estadio Beira Rio, with 60,000 seats. And the last one, Las Dunas, with 45,000 seats, and called Natal. And the last but not least, Arena Pernambuco in Arrecife, with 45,000 seats. Maracanã, located in Rio, and the biggest stadium in Brazil, with 76,000 seats. Arena Fonte Nova with 52,000 seats in Salvador, and in Sao Paulo with a capacity of 63,000 seats. The organization of the tournament consists on 8 groups of 4 teams each that were chosen randomly. Then a group of 16 where only 2 teams were qualified per group. Then reduced to quarterfinals where 8 teams played, and finally semi-final where 4 teams in 2 games defined the final and semi-final and the third place. One of the most interesting groups in the tournament was Group C, where obviously Colombia had played. The group consists of 4 teams: Colombia, Greece, Japan, and Ivory Coast. With a total of 3 games per team, Colombia classified with 9 out of 9 points. The second was Greece with 4 out of 9, and the last one were Ivory Coast and Japan.
Colombia's first match was against Greece at the Fortaleza Stadium. That match was 3-0 in favor of Colombia, where the goals were scored by Paulo Armero, Teófilo Gutiérrez, and obviously the great James Rodriguez. The second match, and one of the most difficult, was against Ivory Coast at the stadium of Belo Horizonte. That match was 2-1 in favor of Colombia, and the goals were scored by James Rodriguez, Juan Fernando Quintero, and for Ivory Coast, Gervinho. Colombia's third match was against Japan at the stadium of Sao Paulo, where they used an alternative starting 11, and the result was 4-1 in favor of Colombia, where the goals were scored by Jackson Martinez in 2 times, James Rodriguez, and Juan Guillermo Cuadrado. And then, after 24 years, Colombia returned to a round of 16, where they faced Uruguay at the Maracanã Stadium. The result was 2-0 in favor of Colombia, where the goals were scored by James Rodriguez in 2 occasions. And then, for the first time ever, Colombia advanced to a quarterfinals, where they faced the local team Brazil. Colombia lost 2-1 with goals of Thiago Silva and David Luiz for Brazil, and 1 goal of James Rodriguez for the Cafetier team. That was the best result ever in Colombian history soccer. The most important players of the Colombian team were James Rodriguez, obviously, the great scorer, David Ospina, a great goalkeeper, and Juan Guillermo Cuadrado, one of the best midfielders in the planet.
At the end of the FIFA World Cup final, several awards are attributed to the players and teams which have distinguished from the rest, in different aspects. Some of the awards are the World Cup winner, the Golden Ball, the Golden Boot, the Golden Glove, the Best Young Player, Fair Play, and the Most Entertaining Team. Germany arrived to Brazil being one of the most favorite teams to win the Cup. In the path through the championship, they eliminated 2 great teams, Brazil and France, and later Argentina in the final. Thanks to players like Toni Kroos, Mario Götze, Neuer, and Müller, Germany won the Cup. The award of the best player was given to Lionel Messi, the Argentina captain. This trophy was so polemic because he didn't deserve it. Was not the case of Manuel Neuer, who got the Golden Glove award, who was actually the best goalkeeper of the cup. James Rodriguez, the Colombian player, got two awards just for himself. The first one and the most important one was the Golden Boot, prize that was given for being the player that scored more goals. The second one was for scoring the best goal in the tournament. The Colombian team won two awards as a team. The first one for being the fair play team with less yellow and red cards, and the second one for being the most entertaining team of the World Cup, thanks to their celebrations and style of playing. During the Cup, there were two important cases of Colombian players. One of those was Farid Mondragon, who broke the record of being the oldest player playing the World Cup. And the other was the most famous striker, Ramel Falcao Garcia, who couldn't assist the Cup. In the history of the World Cups, Colombia have participated 5 times, and it was the first time that Colombian team develops an important role. Everybody, all around the world, recognizes that a new era for Colombia has arrived. We made history.